bloody sheep.
It was an abundance, let's say that.
I have seen Thanksgiving dinners with less than
That's
this.
true.
And boy, I tell you what, we really, really appreciate it. And, I see Ty's on the phone over there, which is good because I didn't think he was going to break away from that box over there. But, but Isabella, I know you're probably listening somewhere. Where'd you say she called in from last week?
It was Fort Smith last week. Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Wow.
I don't know if that was on the way back from Utah the week before. I'm not sure.
Detroit.
Yeah.
She called from Detroit. But Isabella, a big thanks from all of us here except the microphones here at MPB. They're not very excited because we certainly understand that. Hey, high school football playoffs, I mean, it's a great time of the year. The weather is perfect. It was a breeze blowing tonight. We don't have a couple of scores we're chasing in the MAIS that are of great importance. But we're going to be talking to a lot of folks tonight. I had someone. Did y'all talk to? I was out last week. Did y'all talk to anybody about Tri-County last week?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, good. Because someone asked me in the grocery store of all places this week, we're just not getting enough time on Tri-County. I said, okay, well, Josh is back. Was Josh back last week?
No. We had somebody else call.
Clint was talking last week.
I think we did, but we did have a report from Tri-County.
All right,
no question about
Josh
that.
is back.
Okay.
He is off of sedatives. He's back.
Well, and we talked about that. They lost that game to Adams County Christian by 1.
Yes.
And then they won the next 3 by some, I don't know, combination of score of like 120 to nothing. I don't think they allowed a point in the last 3 games. So anyway, I think they have the night off tonight, of course.
Well, yeah, because they'd be in the opening round. Now, to be sure, there are some schools that are still playing that aren't playoff games. They're like the last game of the season.
Well, all the MIS games played tonight were playoff games. Now, last night, there were a lot of 5A and 6A. In fact, all of 5A, all 6A played last night on Thursday night. And then basically you have 4A, 3A, 2A that are in playoffs. I guess 1A played last night as well.
Yeah, come on, MHSAA?
Yeah,
for Republic. Yeah, MHSAA.
So, anyway, I mean, there was it looks like more, but there were like roughly 45, 46 games last night. And there's going to be like 70-something games tonight.
Well, and you know why they're playing last night?
Yeah, you said the officials.
The officials can't find enough of them.
Yeah. Well,
so
maybe we need Isabella to go into refereeing school or something.
Don't let her do a Warren Central game though.
No. That wouldn't be fair.
Chris is back from Texas. How was your trip?
It was fine.
Good.
Glad to be home.
Well, I bet you are. And to come home to all this food, that's
can't beat that.
No. This is it. A lot of this is guaranteed to stay hot hours after you've eaten it. So that's good.
So as soon as you get some scores going, we'll talk to Ty Boyles.
Okay.
Ty had the week off.
Well, he decided to call in anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, let me give you some scores from last night. I'm just going to give you some highlights.
Okay.
Gulfport beat Biloxi 33-24. In the Rankin County Super Bowl, the Eat Dirt game, Brandon defeated Pearl, but not as bad as you might think, 49-35.
Excellent.
It was West Point defeating Columbus 35-0. East Central 28, Van Cleve 21. These are all, of course, Thursday night games. Probably maybe the game of the year. It was Picayune and Gaucher, and they played at Picayune last night. And in overtime, Picayune prevails 48-42. That was maybe the game of the year. Tupelo defeated Germantown. Tupelo has just rattled off 4 just ridiculous games. They beat Germantown last night 40-3. And I think they've outscored Madison Central, Clinton, Murrah, and Germantown, those 4 games in a row. I think it's something like 160-10.
Good
I mean,
gracious.
they literally just have blown everybody out. Some other games of interest. Starkville defeated Grenada 21-14. Ocean Springs defeated Harrison Central 43-14. Hernando 29, Olive Branch 22. Lafayette defeated Lake Cormorant 30-7. DeSoto Central defeated Lewisburg 35-14. It was George County over Long Beach 63-20. This was a good game. Madison Central outscores Oxford 56-43 last night. And I think that means Oxford is out of the playoffs, but Madison Central is probably in. Let's see.
Did Warren Central play?
Warren Central defeated Meridian by the score of 24-12. It was Clinton over Murrah, 63-18 was the final there. Oak Grove beat Northwest Rankin 42-24. Ridgeland beat Canton 19-12. South Haven they've undefeated. They've had a great season. They beat Horn Lake 46-6.
Kind of under the radar. We've not really mentioned.
Well,
South
we haven't
Haven.
mentioned South Panola, South Haven, and I said something I shouldn't have said to Ray Coleman last week. I said we've kind of let Tupelo kind of go underneath the radar. He said, how can you do that? It was just an incredible season. And now I'll give you one more, two more. South Panola defeated Center Hill 34-6, and Petal shut out Terry by the score of 24-0.
Well, Harold's going to be going crazy tonight.
I'm sure we're going to hear from him too.
Well, so we've got Ty Boyles,
Ty Boyles.
Isabella, and Mike from Hattiesburg.
Okay.
So let's start out with Ty Boyles.
Ty, you didn't have a ball game tonight. What's going on in Crystal Springs?
Well, if you got the heard last week, we got put out by McGee 55-6.
55 or 65?
55.
55-6. So you're out of the playoffs. What was the final record for the Tigers this year?
It was 4-6.
4-6. Okay. Well, better days are ahead.
Yeah.
So now what high school team are you going to root for now?
Hadley, Dr. Prep, and the Kapai.
That's Kapaya's got a good team.
Yeah, Kapaya won by a pretty big score tonight over Leak, I think, 47-6. I believe
47-6.
47-6. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Ty. Go ahead and let it rip.
God, oh, come on!
Yeah, the Horns really got hooked last week at Oklahoma State. All right, let's go to our favorite. Isabella joins. Isabella, first of all, where are you tonight?
I am in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Okay, so no wonder. Go ahead.
I got home yesterday and everything, and I've got a new development in my company. I've been looking at this for a while. I am most likely coming off of the road, not going to be driving, but I'm still going to be employed by the company, but I'm just going to be doing the after-hours dispatch / breakdown, and so that'll allow me to be at home, which works out great because I was going to ask y'all to please remember my dad in your prayers. He went to his church group's fall festival, the senior class and stuff, and he's 78, and now the ambulance picked him up, and we think he's had a heart attack, and he's had one before and had a quadruple bypass in 2019, so I am on my way to the hospital. So
bless your heart. Well, we certainly will. You can count on that, and I had Reed Vance set up to talk to you tonight. Reed calls these Warren Central games, and I had him set up to talk to you tonight, but obviously you need to get on to the hospital. You going to Region 8 on that?
Sir?
Are you going to Region 8 hospital for him, for your dad?
Yes, sir. River Region.
Yeah, River Region. Okay. Well, man, first of all, let me.
Yeah,
go ahead.
If Reed would like to talk, yes, I would definitely welcome it and everything, because I'm not going. I can't go back into some of the areas, so I'm just going to be there. Let Daddy know that I'm there and everything, and then I'll have to wait in the waiting room and stuff. So that'll kind of help occupy my mind.
Well, I'll certainly. I think Ty's got your number, and we'll send that along to Reed. And Reed, because I told Reed, I said, Isabella's doing this for us tonight, and she's a big Viking fan, and I think this is his first year to call for them. And who knows? Now they may surprise some people and get in this thing. It's pretty competitive all the way across this year. If you've been listening to the show, everybody's kind of beating everybody else. So, well,
the 6A is set and everything. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Warren Central played last night.
Correct.
And they beat Meridian 24-12. Well, it was a three-way tie with Oak Grove, Brandon, and Warren Central because each one beat the other. But the point differential come into play because Warren Central beat Oak Grove. I think it was 41-40 in overtime. Oh. And so they lost on the point differential. And now their consolation prize is basically tied for first by record, third in the district, and they are traveling to Gulfport.
Oh.
That looks to be a very good game.
Yeah, it does.
9-2 Gulfport with only 2 losses to top division champions of their respective districts, Picayune and
Ocean Springs. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And it looks, and by way of score, it looks like they can put up points pretty easily. So Warren Central's defense don't have to be on points. They got to come to play for sure. Gulfport ain't gonna roll over and give it to them.
No, they're not. But I'll tell you, they're one of the more steady teams that have been playing on the coast since it got started in this year. Of course, Ocean Springs, and I'll tell you what, that Gaucher team that played Picayune last night gave Picayune all they wanted, and I didn't think.
Wow.
Picayune was behind with 1:08 to go and tied the game. They went in overtime, and Picayune won it in overtime. So a lot of tough football down on the coast. Well, look, we're gonna let you go, but our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And once again, thank you so much for the supper you've provided for us. And it's nice to know that there are folks out there that appreciate what we do on Friday night and back it up.
Absolutely.
Back it up with food we can enjoy.
Absolutely, y'all have brightened my Friday nights tremendously because I love high school football. I'd rather watch that than any game on TV or anywhere, period.
You know what, Isabella, I told somebody the other day, I said it's the last pure sport that plays for the love of the game.
Exactly, it is.
And so, and you get people going to these football games. They don't even have any kids going to that school, and they're going to the football games.
Right.
So it's a popular ticket, and you've made our Friday nights a lot brighter too. I mean, the first night you called you in Detroit, man, I was going, wow, this is unbelievable. I love technology and I love what it does, but we want to thank you and seriously, our thoughts and prayers are with your family tonight, and keep listening because I'll have Reed give you a buzz.
Awesome. Will do. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Isabella. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
All right.
That's one nice lady.
Yeah.
And really very knowledgeable, too.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think she's more than we do.
Maybe we ought to add her to the staff as a kind of on-the-road correspondent.
Hey, look, we've got some callers out there, so
that's
she's
right.
become a regular for
All
sure.
right.
Well, why don't you go ahead and go with some more scores because we only got 45 seconds before break.
All right.
Okay, these are games played tonight. Houston defeated Shannon 31-14. West Lauderdale over Gentry 26-20. Louisville shut out Greenwood 35-0. Poplarville beat Pass Christian 40-12. Newton County defeated Raymond 31-7. It was Stone shutting out, or no, not shutting out, but beating Summerall by the score of 41-6. Winona 43, Nettleton 7. Tylertown beat Perry Central 40-21, and Raleigh beat Morton 52-6.
And J.A. intercepted Park Lane's final hope to win and beat them 22-20.
Wow.
Oh. And Hartfield won, but I don't have that score. But when Joseph Craven calls in, we'll get it. We'll take a timeout, and we'll be back with more of Friday Night Under the Lights in a moment.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson with you, along with George Broadstreet. Joel Norris is here. He'll have his crazy eights coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. Chris is back producing tonight here in studio. Liz is sitting high in the air chair back there for MPB. Ty Bailey is on the phone, and Noah Crow is running scores down for us. And I tell you, we'll always talk about, every year this comes up, and it's the Little Brown Jug game. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Hattiesburg, Laurel. That game is tomorrow night.
Right.
Okay, but Mike is here with us tonight, and he'll be calling for Hattiesburg. Mike, good evening, sir. You can talk any number of subjects, but let's start with the Little Brown Jug. Where did this thing come from anyway?
Started in 1922, and there's different stories about how it became, but the story I use is two people betting a jug of moonshine over the ball game. So can you imagine betting moonshine over a high school football game?
I can't imagine that. So who has it the most, Laurel or Hattiesburg?
Law has it right now. They've won the most. I think I'll have to go back and look. I think out of 100 games, it's like there's been 5 ties, and I think it's like 48-47 to 5. So it's a true rivalry. Nobody has ever run away with it.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't last year's game that went to Laurel 50-0?
Unfortunately, it was. That's when the injury bug really hit toward the end of the year. Then we lost our quarterback that night to a broken wrist, and just never got it going. That's pretty demoralizing. But you can bet that Tony Vance has not let his guys forget about that, and I can guarantee one thing: it won't be 50-0 in the morning.
And where is the game tomorrow?
It's in Hattiesburg tomorrow night.
Okay.
So, expecting Southern Miss is at home tomorrow. I expect a few people from the Southern Miss game to come on over to watch Hattiesburg High and Laurel tomorrow. Let me tell you this, and not being a homer or anything, if you've never experienced a Little Brown Jug game and you don't have a particular school that you root for, you need to get to one. It's not a bitter rivalry at all. It's nothing like Brandon and Pearl eat dirt or anything like that. I mean, it's just a good, clean rivalry, and it's been that way for 100 years.
That's amazing. That's because when you look around at the state, some of the big ball games, the Possum Bowl, which happens between Bogachita and Lloyd Star, and there's a big story about that. One of those teams hung some possums on the goalpost of the other team. There's a lot of those kind of games around the state, but this one's been around for a long time, and I guess the last question I would ask you is, are you healthy at quarterback?
We are very healthy at quarterback. In fact, we're healthy all across the board, with the exception of our running back who had that season-ending injury first game of the season. We are as healthy as we've ever been.
Well, that's saying something, because last year it seemed like everybody went down early, and you still crawled in there. This year you won the games you had to win, and you find yourself in the playoffs. Boy, it just doesn't get much better than that. And on a Saturday. I mean, is this game normally played on a Saturday?
It's been played on Saturday. I think this was like maybe the third or fourth consecutive year it's been played on a Saturday. So now next year, not sure how it's going to be. I don't know if y'all are going to discuss this or not tonight, but reclassification is going to start over again next year. And unfortunately, we're still going to play Law, but Law will not be in our region next year.
Really? Okay. Well, I did notice something about 1A, but I haven't heard. Is everything set?
Everything is set. The reclassification numbers came out yesterday.
Well,
and Law is still going to be Class 5A, and Hattiesburg is now going to be 6A next year.
Ooh, okay. Well, because you got some teams bumping up to 7A. So they probably have, and I think what we'll try to do is get Ricky Neves of the MHSAA on next week and talk to him about that. Well, Mike, good luck on your game tomorrow. That is one of the most fun games of the year, and you should have a good crowd over there, especially like you said with Southern being in town. And we'll look for a report from you next week about this ball game.
Okay, may have to double dip on you next week. We're also playing Van Cleve in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay, well, double dipping's fine. We got some sauce over here from Buffalo Wild Wings you can do that with. So.
Sounds great, guys.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
Kerry Metzler.
Oh, good night, nurse. You had us shook last night, Kerry.
Well, it was quite the evening. Hey, before we do that, Mike talking about this little brown jug. I've seen Mike at quite a few ball games. He has his own little brown jug. Sorry, Mike. I had to turn you in, buddy.
It was going to happen eventually, anyway.
And, they've been chasing him for years. What do you say? They've been chasing him. They finally got him. I love Mike. Mike. Sometimes I'll be doing games at the river, and Mike will step in the press box and just say hello, and I'll say, "What's in your pocket?" And he'll say, "Well," and he'll just move on. He's got, I'm picking. Mike's a great guy. I always enjoy my time with him. Yeah, Russ, we had a great ball game last night in Picayune, and it was just a wild one. And look, tip your hat to both teams. They got after each other for full 48. It wasn't decided. Had to go play a little overtime, but a lot of big plays in this ball game last night. I mean, on and on from the first half right down to, of course, in overtime when Picayune finally won it on a touchdown.
Well, and didn't you guys have the ball with 1:08 to go and down by a touchdown?
Yeah, we did. In fact, can I back up a little bit? Can I kind of go back and rewind the tape before that? The play, and I'm going to just say this, if this play doesn't happen, who knows where we're at in this ball game, but we were facing 4th and 7. We got the football, and we're in a pickle, a big old cucumber, okay? And our junior quarterback, Brady Robinson, he's behind the line of scrimmage. He comes up. He was going to tuck it under and run, and Russ, I don't, love Brady. I don't think he was going to get the first down. And then right at the last second, he saw Josiah Contu sometimes lines up at wingback, sometimes lines up at wide receiver. He plays a lot of defensive back for us. He saw him about 15 yards downfield. He floated to him, and I say floated, he perfect. I hate to use that word, but he threw it right where it had to be, and Conti grabbed it, and he ran it 56 yards to get us down score position, and that was getting it down to that 108 mark where we finally went in, and scored. We scored with 108 to go on the touchdown to tie it up, and we held them. We eventually go into overtime. But that play by Brady Robinson was just
play of the year kind of stuff. It's a play of the year kind of stuff.
It could have been. There's a lot of plays here. I tell you the other play that we talked about this on the broadcast and also post game. We had a situation in the game, and look, let me tell you, Joe Shea. We're going to talk about Caden Irvin in a minute. Their wide receivers are making Phillips and Alfred and Beavers, and Phillips is a great return guy, and Phillips had broke loose. I think it was Phillips. It might have been Alfred. It was a long night. Well, one of them broke loose on the kickoff return to midfield. We got one man to beat, our quarterback Morgan Kraft, and Kraft just broke down. He didn't go left. He didn't go right. And the receiver juked left, juked right. Morgan didn't go anywhere. By the time he ran out of juke, he ran right into Morgan. He tackled him, played the touchdown. If they score that touchdown, that changes that whole ball game right there at that point. But what a ball game it was, But Irvin last night, and Russ, I know he's an Ole Miss commit, but man, somebody is missing out on this kid as quarterback. He's 6'2", 215. He's been throwing for about 400 yards a game. He came in last night with about 45 touchdowns. He threw, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He threw 5 last night, just short of 400 yards. We countered that with Dante Dowdell. Dowdell had stood out the week before just to rest up a little bit.
Right.
He ran it 30 times for 177 yards. He scored 4 TDs. He got the game winning overtime. First time we got it after holding them on down. He goes off the left side, broke 3 tackles, bowled his way in. We win it 48-42. Talked about Brady Robinson, great night, Josiah Thompson. I'm going to just throw a name out there to him and write this one in your little book. And Mike might want to write this one on bottom of his little brown jug. DeMonte Waller, okay? DeMonte Waller, defensive end, Picayune, junior, exceptional football player, quick. Quick sounds more than the kid's fast. He's built. He's one of these guys that can be able to put on another 30 pounds when he gets in college. He's only a junior, and he had one of his best games ever. He's played some great, but he's had one of his best games ever for us last night. But it was a great game. 2 quality teams. Man, I tell you what, it was a lot of fun to call. They call that game Long Hatch for Little Brown Jug. I'm going to start calling this the paper because I almost ran out of paper last night. I'm telling you, I looked over one time. I said, Todd, give me a hot dog wrapper. I'm out of room. He wouldn't budge. So I put right on the wall.
Well,
it was a wild one last night. Coach Gardner, his staff did a great job. Coach Hive, Coach said they did a great job. 2 great football teams. I think both these teams will represent us very, very well in the upcoming playoffs.
I think you're exactly right. And that Gaucher team is really one to keep an eye on. They're pretty salty over there. So where do you go next week? Who do you open up with?
Well, we're at home, and I tell you, I might need to drink that Little Brown Jug to figure out who we play because they got this crazy thing. I think Brandon Shields put it out. Somebody showed me a screenshot. If this one beats that one with their mouth open and his sister's late for the date, then this team plays. It's got one of those where it's got like 50 scenarios. I just finally said I'm gonna wait till Sunday or Monday and find out who we play. But we know it won't be Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg, they won that region. They're gonna be the number 1. And then last night, West Jones beat Wayne County. So we could play West Jones, Wayne County, or Laurel if I read that scribe thing that Brandon put out there. But it's that's no easy run. We played these guys in first round,
right?
And a little bit of everything, and all those programs are well coached. They've got great athletes like we do, and it'll be some great football in the coming weeks here if we got to play through that, and then representing our region, you've got a very good Gaucher team along with Picayune. You've got a very good East Central team. So there's in that bottom 8 that's going to play. There's 5, 6 teams. Any of them could win this thing.
You're right.
In the next 3 weeks.
You're right.
It's going to be some really good football.
Well, you'll have to go a long way to beat last night's. Now I'm telling you, that was a good one. Kerry, thanks so much for hanging around with us on Friday night, and whoever you play next week, good luck on that one. Kerry Mitzler, the play-by-play voice for the Maroon Tide. We'll take a time out and be back with more Friday Night Under the Lights in a moment.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
With my Cricket plan, everything is consistent. It's always going to be the same price. No worries.
Cricket is easy, it's affordable, customer service is top-notch. That's why I've been with them for so long.
I got my phone from Cricket and it's amazing. As a journalist, I use it for basically everything.
Great phones, great deals. Now that's a story. Smile, you're on Cricket.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoyed today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Get your school on the network now.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Noah just found this little tidbit of information that Caden Irving on the Picayune Memorial score last night, 48-42, that Picayune won. Caden Irving has over 10,000 yards in his career in Mississippi. That's saying something. Wow.
10,000 yards passing?
I don't know. Passing? No,
and he doesn't even have a single offer, is what Noah's been telling me.
That's what Kerry was saying.
Yeah, he doesn't have a single offer. He's an Ole Miss baseball commit. He's a baseball player.
Well, yeah, but still, 10,000 yards is 10,000 yards. All right, Chris, who do we got?
Well, scores first, then we'll go to Harold.
Okay. Oh, man, he's excited.
All right, let me give you some scores. These will be last night's scores. We mentioned Petal defeated Terry by the score of 24-0. West Jones defeated Wayne County 14-7 last night. South Haven over Horn Lake 46-6. Mentioned Gulfport over Biloxi 33-24. Brandon over Pearl 49-35. Now these are Friday night games. We've got Newton County over Raymond 31-7. Winona beat Nettleton 43-7. Tylertown over Perry Central 40-21. Raleigh beat Morton 52-6 tonight. It was Baldwin edging East Webster 21-20. Eupora beat Walnut 43-14. That game was played tonight. Also, Philadelphia defeated Pelahatchie 48-21. Heidelberg 34, Bogachita 14. Scott Central. Don't want to play Scott Central.
No.
Scott Central beat Nanawaya 49-7. MAIS over at Mitt County 41-0. And Velma Jackson defeated Newton 55-0.
Keep an eye on this Velma Jackson team. They're pretty good. All right, Chris, who do we got?
Harold.
Oh, Harold, you said last week, my friend, you said that the Panthers are going to play to the end, and that's exactly what they did tonight.
Carter, I'm going to tell you something. They played to the end, buddy. They look good. They finished with a win in the region, and it was a losing season, but still, heads up high. It was emotional for them, for the seniors to go out and get in that divisional win.
Yep.
It's great. I don't know. Mike was telling about
the classifications. We go to 7A next year, and this is the way that we found it. I looked it up today. Us and Brandon, Oak Grove, the 8 teams that played this year in 6A, except for Terry and Warren Central, will compose your 7A school next year.
To me, that makes sense because they're the biggest schools.
Right. Well, on the coast, it happens that Pascagoula and Hancock will drop out, and you'll have the same thing there.
Yeah.
So those 2 classifications there will be like that now. And on the series that Mike was running, WD and just let this happen. Laurel leads the overall series 50, 45, and 5. There's been 5 ties.
I can't believe that. 5 times over all of that, but the jug has been at either school.
Guys, if you can believe this, I've been a part of that little brown jug contest.
Yeah.
Way back in the 70s, yes.
As a player?
No. as a high school student band member.
Gotcha. So you've been there. You've experienced it.
We know what it's like. And I'm going to tell you something. If you like it, if the road would have cooperated, you go up between the bricks, and it's like you're not expecting it to be 28 degrees. Hey, football weather in the making.
You got that, buddy.
You got your good gear on, but no, the 6A playoffs were set up too. I don't know if y'all had got that.
Yeah, we got it. In fact,
according to what I've seen, the South Division will have Brandon hosting Hancock. Gulfport will get Warren Central. Northwest Rankin will play Ocean Springs, which you don't want to play Ocean Springs. You don't want to play Brandon, but I think Brandon was just gearing up last night with Pearl. But hey, guys, it was for Pearl, as young as they are. Russ, you and I had talked about that earlier in the season. Pearl was young.
Yep.
And to score 35 points like those kids did.
That's what George. What George. When I came in, George told me. He said, they hung with him pretty well, and I know that Greg Flynn is going to be on here. Excuse me, in just a few minutes, and he's the voice of the Pearl Pirates, and he'll give us a rundown of it. We got to run. Harold, thank you so much for making us a part of your Friday night. It's folks like yourself.
If you put up with me next week, I may call you in some of these playoff games.
That would be just fine. That would be. We'll put up with you anytime.
All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all down the line, and y'all have a good night.
You too. All right, Harold with us.
Back to scores, George.
All right, let me see if I can give you a few that we have not given before. This was a Thursday night game. Hernando defeated Olive Branch 29-22. Vicksburg beat Holmes County Central. Vicksburg is, not to be forgotten in 5A. They've got a good football team. They beat Holmes County Central last night 36-16. It was French Camp over Leake County 41-28. George County beat Long Beach 63-20. Bay Spring shut out Lumberton 50-0. It was, again, we mentioned this one earlier, but it's worth mentioning again. Madison Central went to Oxford and outscored Oxford 56-43. That was a ball game there. Olive Branch beat Enterprise Lincoln 50-24. Natchez beat Florence 38-17. Oak Grove over Northwest Rankin 42-24. And one last one. Pascagoula shut out Hancock 28-0.
All right, Chris, who do we got? No, okay. I want to get now. I forgot this week. I was filling out the log today, and I forgot Ray Coleman. Ty, I don't know if you've got Ray's number, but I do. We need to call him. And
they beat Murrah last night, 63-18.
So what does that do for them though in the playoffs?
Well, I think they end up in their district. I think they would be second behind Tupelo because I think they tied Madison Central, but they had a tiebreaker over Madison Central.
Because they beat them.
Yeah, but I know Clinton, they're planning on having a home game next Friday night. I think they're playing Lewisburg, but I'm not 100% sure.
That would be an interesting contest. I don't ever remember, and we've been around Clinton High football for a long time, I don't ever remember them playing Lewisburg.
No, I don't recall that either.
So,
another thing, we mentioned, way back a couple of callers ago, about the classifications coming out, and it really would be good to talk to Ricky Neves in the next couple of weeks, because that's going to change a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to that 7A, and you got 24 schools in 7A. There's going to be fewer schools in every classification. It's going to create some different combinations, but anyway.
So you're saying it's better now to add 7A?
Well, I don't know if it's. I don't know whether it's better or not, but I do know it's going to create some kind of different combinations, because you've got 24 schools in 7A. I didn't know this, but who's got the largest enrollment of all the 6A schools?
I'm going to say probably Oak Grove.
DeSoto Central.
Really?
Yeah, DeSoto Central, and it's not even close. I mean, they've got I've forgotten the exact number.
Isn't it 1,500 and something?
Yeah, it was like 1,500. Yeah, it's a big number.
Because 7A varies from like 1,535 or 45 down to just a little over 900, I think.
Yeah.
And like Clinton, for an example, is down there in the middle. They've got like 1,200. That's a couple I looked at.
Yeah.
Well, but that whole area, DeSoto Central, South Haven, that's grown so much.
Tremendous growing area.
Yeah, and I remember when DeSoto Central just got into 6A, and we're taking their lumps, and now they've always been good with softball, haven't they, Chris? For girls softball?
Softball, but they've been a great baseball team.
Baseball team, too. No, they've signed a lot of D1 players, so... I kind of like the 7A. I think Alabama's got 7A. I think it's time for us to have 7A.
Well, we've got it.
Well, and I think really what George, some of the 7A competition will probably stay the same, because you still got Clinton, Madison.
Right.
But I think 6A, 5A, there's going to be some transition in who is the top dog in some of those divisions.
And you said the Picayune stays in 5A.
I'm not 100% sure of that. Did Kerry say that?
I think Kerry said,
okay, I'm not 100% sure of that. I looked at that, but there's so many numbers and so many schools.
It seems like every year when I was doing the playoff games on TV, it seemed like West Point was in it every year. Now they're staying the same, right?
Again, I can't verify that.
We don't have those sheets in front of us.
We'll have it next week.
And Dr. Dave will have all of it up.
Dr. Dave. Gosh, he's way ahead of He's light years ahead of us all.
He'll have it all on the website, so you're going to want to go.
Hey, you mentioned those important MAIS games. Let me just throw those out, because these were games I'm sure a lot of people had interest in. Jackson Academy played host to Park Lane. They had to play them last week. They played them again this week. And it was a close game again, and JA won 22-20. And then Hartsfield, who pulled off Hartfield, I got corrected by Joseph last week. Hartfield pulled off maybe the surprise. Well, I won't say surprise, but maybe one of the bigger games of the year by beating MRA last weekend. They defeated Presbyterian Christian tonight 35-18. So I guess that they're going to play Prep next week, right?
I believe you're correct.
That's right.
At Prep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
All right. Right.
And then that means MRA plays
JA
at MRA.
At MRA.
So winning tonight for JA is great, except who you have to play next week.
Well, MRA had a week off to rest, which I think they needed it. We talked to
it was
Everett.
No, we were talking. Was John Weaver called?
John Weaver. That's right.
John Weaver.
Yeah.
And so, I think both Prep and MRA, wanted that week off.
I think so too.
We will take a time out, and when we come back, we'll go back to the phones. We'll give you a wrap up of the scores. Give us a call, 877-672-7464, if you'd like to get in and be a part of the show tonight. And again, Isabella, thanks for supper.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky, they're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I love how Cricket has no hidden fees, no hidden charges. It's just predictable.
With Cricket, I can stay in touch with my grandson as much as I want without being concerned that my bills go up.
The 5G is like fast. It makes sharing photos of our projects and video calls super easy.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community. Embracing technology, empowering people, striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Get your school on the network now.
I started at 23 with nothing but me. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. We'll be here until midnight tonight. Don't forget, Joel will be around with his crazy. Had an upset or two in that tonight?
I would say one upset at least. The rest are just kind of, I saw coming a little bit.
But your coach tonight will not be upset.
Oh, no, he won't be upset. No,
Okay.
He will not be upset. It's Riverdale head coach, Jared Smeltzer, once again.
Good,
So, yeah.
good. We'll be glad to talk to him and got some interesting games around the state. All of them now, with everything was with playoff implication now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're deep into it now. So we've got this first week of November, right? So we've got 3 more weeks, and that's it.
That's pretty much it, yeah. And
yeah.
Wow. For public school, championship games are in first
weekend in December.
Yeah.
And then we have the 2 bowl games, which Friday Night Under the Lights will produce, the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game from University of South Alabama. And then we'll go to the Gulf Coast the next weekend to produce the Bernard Blackwell All-Star Classic. We'll probably be talking to Johnny Mims probably next week about those 2 games and how to get tickets and all that stuff. I personally think we're loaded with talent this year. And I've seen what Alabama's come through with every year. And hey, they got some great players. But I'm going to tell you what, we've got some. Well, you got one guy that's thrown 10,000 yards in his career. We just got a lot of people. Chris, we got anybody on the phone?
Ray Coleman.
Ah, sweet baby Ray. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. How are y'all?
We're good. You're not racing to get home tonight. That's nice.
Yeah. It was kind of weird, man. We played on Thursday night, so I took my wife. We had date night. So we went and had dinner.
I know that's what she's always wanted to do on date night.
Yeah.
Go to a high school.
Our Fridays are consumed with the Clinton Arrows. So it's kind of nice to have a free Friday night.
Ray, this Arrow team is, I'm not going to say it's hard to figure out, but it's been up and down. And, back in first part of September, I don't think anybody would have been talking playoff with these kids, but apparently Judd's got that ship going in the right direction, and big win last night.
Yeah, man. For Judd, if he can get kids to buy in, which he really does a good job of, The system is in place. The guy's a winner. His coaching staff, they're winners. So it's all about getting these young men to buy in. Now, sometimes that could be difficult. We're talking 14 to 18-year-old young men, and that's hard. But I think what you see is a team that has been trying to figure it out all season, figuring out what their strengths and weaknesses are to make it to the point of playing in the postseason. And I'm sure you guys have said this before I joined the broadcast tonight. Once you get in the postseason, it doesn't matter what happened before.
That's right.
You're there now, and at that point, you're worthy enough to play against any opponent that steps in front of you. So that's where they are now as a 2-seed in Region 2-6A.
Yeah, and I tell you make a really good point, because how many times have we seen a Goliath like Tupelo go down in a first round? Not just picking on them, but I mean, I'm just saying a school that's that good, they win or lose ball games if they're at the top. It doesn't matter. Those teams prepare. They go in there, and those coaches prepare, and you come out, and I mean, I don't know if you saw what happened to Picayune last night, but they got pushed by Gaucher.
Yeah, man, it's any given Friday. I know the term is any given Sunday, but now it's any given Friday, man. These young men now know what's on the line. An opportunity to play for a state title, to be able to go down in history at your school and in your region and your classification. So what a better time now than to get off to a hot start. Now, I can say all of these nice things, but at the end of the day, you got to go out and do it. So we'll see what they can do next week when they host DeSoto Central.
Well, and this DeSoto Central team is pretty good. I mean, if you, I'm gonna tell you what, Ray, if you can get past them, you might have a shot.
Yeah, man. Listen, I think what you'll find with the Clinton Arrows is that they aren't afraid to play anybody. They've played 3 of the best teams that this state has to offer, in my opinion. The Tupelo Golden Wave, the Brandon Bulldogs, and Ocean Springs. They've seen them all. They've gotten their best shot, and they went toe-to-toe with Brandon. They played really well against Ocean Springs, in my opinion, and they just ran into a buzzsaw 2 weeks ago against Tupelo. But I say all of that to say this: they've seen the best. They really have, and so now they know what to expect, and they truly are battle tested as we get ready to make this 6A playoff run.
Well, I appreciate you giving us a call tonight and giving us the update on that, and I'm glad you enjoyed your date night last week, and maybe you ought to make that an every Friday thing.
We'll make it an every Friday thing after the Arrows win the championship.
You got to take care of first things first, right?
That's it. My wife has been supportive of it. I've been doing it, man, so she knows when it's over, we go and have a good time. But for right now, it's all about the ride to the gold ball in Hattiesburg.
You got that right. Thanks so much, Ray. We appreciate it. Good luck next week.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All righty.
Granny,
where in the world did you go tonight?
Russ, let me say something first. That little brown jug, I've seen it. I've been in front of it. Every score that's ever been played is on that jug.
There. You're exact. I've seen it too. Every score, all over, even the bottom of it.
You got to turn it over to read some of it.
You're talking about 100 years. That's a lot of scores.
Yeah, and in that stadium down there, Lord, me and you've been in there together before.
Yep.
That's the football stadium right there.
Ooh, did you know? You probably did, that it was the first high school in Mississippi to have lights at their field.
Yeah, and they're the only high school team that's ever played on a game on Thanksgiving Day too.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's.
But tonight I went to Enterprise in McGee. Okay, all right. It was 13-7 at halftime. McGee was leading. Enterprise went down there and kicked a field goal, like a 25-yard field goal, made it 13-10. McGee was driving, and the boy broke it. He got loose, and they got a hand on him. He got behind the defender, and he fumbled the ball. McGee, running back, fumbled the ball, and Enterprise got it, but they had to punt. They got it back right before the game ended. They drove down there running the ball. I kept waiting for them to break one. And Russ, I'm going to tell you, it looked like they was playing for the tie. I mean,
really?
13-13. They were playing for the tie. So they kicked the field goal at the end. They tried a field goal at the end with like 25 seconds left. And he bobbled the snap. I couldn't tell if he bobbled the snap or if it was a high snap or something. But he never did kick. And Enterprise lost 13-10. Great ball game, I mean. And in this division, 3A is tough. If you got Morton, who went home tonight in this division. Enterprise went home, and I don't know about Union and Clarkdale.
Haven't gotten the score on there yet.
But 3A is as entertaining this year as it's ever been.
But the problem, Granny, the problem is not a lot of people know much about the teams in 3A.
Yeah. Well, they know a little bit about McGee.
Well, yeah.
A little bit about them, and Morton. You know, Morton was a good team this year, and they went down tonight to Raleigh. You can't, and that's not a bad loss out of Raleigh.
No, and that's not. Raleigh's got a very good. They gave MRA all they wanted.
Raleigh's got the number one recruit in the state on their team. I mean, this 3A, you're right. They don't know a lot about them, but it is very entertaining, bro.
Well, I mean, you're into the playoffs now. By the way, did you happen to listen in or look in on that game from Picayune last night?
I heard it was tied at like 42-42, and then I heard that Picayune had finally won it. So that was a great ball game.
Yeah, I wouldn't count Gaucher out of anything. That quarterback's pretty good over there too. You know, the quarterback and Jeff Hager's going to be around in the 11 o'clock hour, and we're going to talk about the Gulf Coast. But he was telling me today while we were texting that he says, "I know this kid at Ocean Springs is good, but this kid at Gaucher is really good too." So should be a lot of good football.
If you get a Union and the Clarkdale score, y'all be sure and put it out there for me.
We will, and check with the website or the app, and Dr. Dave will have them. And between Will the Thrill and Dr. Dave, we will have that score up before the show's over with.
That's good. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Have a great weekend.
I'm going to, if West Jones is home, I'm going to the Sticks next week.
Well, you be careful over there. It gets rough.
Thank you.
Thanks, Granny. Oh, my goodness.
Scores, George.
All right. I can't. I mean, you know, that's just about as Mississippi as you can get.
That's right.
Wesson defeated Union by the score of 34-28. That was from Will the Thrill.
Okay, so
we might need. That was a game that I think was mentioned. Let me give you some. Some of these are Thursday night games, but D'Iberville defeated St. Martin 31-28. West Harrison over Pearl River Central 25-23. Mentioned Warren Central beat Meridian 24-12. Hamilton over Senatobia 33-30 was the final there. As Granny so eloquently mentioned, McGee defeated Enterprise Clark 13-10. That was a good game. Moss Point defeated Forest County AHS 48-6. Poplarville over Pass Christian, that was played tonight 40-12. Louisville shut out Greenwood 35-0. It was Houston defeated Shannon by the score of 31-14. Stone defeated Summerall 41-6. Let me see if I can give you one more. And he mentioned this one also, but Raleigh, who may be the best team in 3A, but Raleigh defeated Morton last night 52-6.
So Morton's done, and they were a good football team, but this Raleigh team is really good.
Wasn't Morton the team that beat Pearl early in the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you know, Pearl, you know, we've said it many times, young. I mean, they were really young.
Right.
And, you know, we just didn't know after the first couple of weeks that they were going to have a tough season. They did. They played well last night against Brandon, but it was kind of a long year for the Pirates.
Well, Greg,
can I throw one more thing in here?
Yeah.
This is Will's numbers. I'm going to get this in here. You know, he gives you all the stats, but he gives you the number of unbeaten teams and the number of winless teams.
Ooh.
That's normally kind of a close number. Well, there were 7 teams going into this weekend's action that were undefeated. That's a small number, 7 undefeated teams. But there were 19 teams between MAIS and MHSAA that didn't win a game going into the night.
Wow, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big number.
That's a huge number.
Yeah.
That means
19 schools.
Means a lot of people are rebuilding.
Yeah,
Hey, we're going to duck out of here and take a time out, and when we come back, we'll start the second hour. Jeff Hager will be here. Greg Flynn will be here. Joel will have his Crazy Eights. Lot going on here at Friday Night Under the Lights. Made possible tonight by the folks at Malone Roofing. We'll be back.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights, made possible tonight by the folks at Cricket Wireless. Smile, you're on Cricket. And Russ here, of course, along with Joel and George and Ty and Chris and Noah and and Liz. Don't forget Liz. And broadcasting here from MPB Think Radio in their new studio here. Also on FNUTL.com. Also, don't want to forget Dr. Dave Shouse, who is neatly tucked away in his bunker. And
hey, can I throw in one thing?
Yeah.
We really need to clean up after tonight. I mean, this is a nice studio.
Yeah.
And with all this, well, we got to clean up.
Okay. I elect Joel and Noah. Last 2 in, first 2 out. But yeah, we don't want to leave Buffalo Wild Wing juice around.
No, and the ratings must be pretty good because Joseph Klein, I mean, he's let us use the coffee machine the last couple of weeks.
Jason has?
Jason. Yeah, he's let us use the coffee machine the last couple of weeks. So Chris has been really proud of that. So we gotta keep our reputation.
There you go. Okay.
Tommy Barnett's here to talk to you.
Tommy, I got to tell you this. The guys were telling me what the score was when you guys were behind. And I said they are going to find a way to win it at the end. And apparently it really was at the end.
Yeah, Russ, it was, just another nip and tuck affair between Jay and Park Lane, this week at the Brickyard. Jay got the opening kickoff, drove right down the field, kicked the field goal, drove 3-0. Two drives later, Park Lane answers. Jefferson kid, just a really special quarterback.
He is.
Got loose for 45 yards, put Park Lane up 7-3, and really Jay answered big in the second quarter. Scored 13 unanswered to go up 16-7. And actually kind of held them at bay. Got it to, I think 19-16, or 19-17. We kicked kicked the field goal. We drove the field. Andrew Harrison kicked another field goal. And really the defense lost our starting quarterback again tonight.
Clayton White?
Really he took a bad shot to the hand. I think we'll have him back next week. But, we pretty much just wound up in Wildcat and gutted out another victory. The big, young defensive tackle, he went down in the third quarter, was not able to go back into the game. Had a big senior, Bennett Ware, step up in his absence and made some big plays. But, once again, Jay, defense tonight was just opportunistic calls. I believe 4 or 5 turnovers tonight, and that was the difference in the game. And now we advance. We got the big mountain in front of us on Old Canton Road next Friday night.
But, Tommy, this has been the story for JA all year, hasn't it?
Russ, it has. It's, I was interviewing the coach post-game, and, I told him I hate to sound like a broken record, but just the resiliency of this team, it's, kind of found their backs against the wall all year long, whether it be injury, youth, or just not playing well. But seems to find a way, and Russ, you look up and we're 9-3. I mean,
that's saying something, Tommy. I mean, being 9-3 in that division, that's saying that you had a great year so far.
That's exactly right. Of course, we've got MRA next week. I don't know how we're going to look. I think we will have Clayton back. I don't know about Darion Albert, the big defensive tackle that's such a handful. Just a freshman. His injuries seem to be more severe, but, Russ, I'm not going to count these kids out until that clock gets all zeros and we don't have as many points as other teams.
Well, I think we've seen over the year, Tommy, that anybody can pretty much beat anybody on a given Friday night. I mean, last week, Hartfield beat MRA, okay?
Yep.
And so it is possible. It is possible.
Right.
I gotta get your take on this. I know you can't change the system. The system works, okay? I get that. But does it take a little out of it if you play one team and then have to turn around the next week and play them again?
Russ, I think really Jay was sleepwalking, I guess is the best way to put it, through the first quarter and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was so much at stake last week, having
right.
to travel to home and win to get the shot at home field. And, you're thinking, okay, well, we went down and beat these guys last week. We got them at home. I think you kind of maybe rest on your laurels a little bit. And, but it took Jay to the middle of the second quarter to kind of get things going. And then you just held on for dear life from the last quarter and a half after you started having people just dropping with injuries.
Well, and do you get your young freshman back for next week?
I think they're going to probably take a picture of me in the morning, see how it goes. He was walking and putting weight on it, but until they get in there and get a picture of it, we'll have to wait and see what the experts say on that.
Well, I tell you, again, 9-3. Back in August, would anybody been talking about 9-3? Probably not. So a tip of the hat.
Seriously, a lot of people, of course, I'm always a big believer in our kids, but, I think if you were to ask the fan base, if they were 100% honest with you, I think 5 or 6 wins would have been kind of the ceiling for this team. And, kudos to Coach Blackwell and his staff. They've not let these kids quit all year.
Well, and I tell you what, they won't quit next weekend either.
Absolutely not.
Well, Tommy, we appreciate the report on this one tonight. Congratulations on that win, and certainly hope that Clayton is able to play next week and you get your on back and have a good football game.
That's right. Of course, as you know, Russ, now it's that busy time of year. I go home, get in bed tonight, get up in the morning, and head to the basketball gymnasium to call tickets. So.
It's a fun time of the year, Tommy. I know, because I've already caught several this week, and then we play again on Tuesday. So you're right. It gets kind of crazy, but it's a lot of fun, and that's why we do it.
That's right.
Thanks, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Russ. You too. God bless.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Some more scores, and then we'll go to Brandon Shields.
All right, let's go over again some Thursday night games. Gulfport defeated Biloxi 33-24. Mentioned Brandon defeated Pearl 49-35. East Central over Van Cleve 28-21. Callaway defeated Forest Hill. Callaway won their 8th game of the year.
How about that?
26-14 was the final there. Maybe the game of the night last night. Maybe the game of this weekend. Picayune defeated Gaucher in overtime 48-42 to remain undefeated. Tupelo continues to be undefeated. They defeated Germantown 40-3 last night. Starkville won an important game for them. They defeated Grenada, who maybe, you always hear this, but they may be the best 2-8 team anywhere. They played a lot of tough, close games and lost to Clinton by 6, lost to Starkville last night by 7, 21-14 was the final. Ocean Springs defeated Harrison Central 43-14. Mentioned Vicksburg defeated Holmes County Central. Vicksburg's had a very good season, finished at 8-2, going to the playoffs in 5A. 36-16 was the final there. DeSoto Central, who we understand is going to play Clinton next Friday night in Clinton. DeSoto Central defeated Lewisburg 35-14. Madison Central outscored Oxford, really like a basketball score, 56-43 was the final there. That was a real game. Clinton beat Murrah 63-18. Oak Grove over Northwest Rankin 42-24. Pearl River Central, or actually West Harrison defeated Pearl River Central 25-23. Give you some games from tonight. Clarksdale defeated Choctaw Central 41-0. Houston over Shannon 31-14. Moss Point beat Forest County AHS 48-6. Poplarville over Pass Christian 40-12. And Stone over Summerall by the score of 41-6.
One of the things I want to talk to, thank you, George, to Ricky Neves about if we can get him on next week, even if we have to record it and play it back. But not only is the 7-8 thing that we want to talk about, I want to talk about this Thursday night situation, because of the officials. What are the plans in place to try to hire new ones, more of them? Well,
now there was something I asked last week, and Will Watson kind of said that there was always sort of the agreement that in the last week or two of the season that there would be a lot of games on Thursday night. And again, I don't understand all the rationale between all that, but I think a lot of it does come back to they don't have enough officials. So, that's going to be one of those things that I know they've been working on for several years. In fact, I think we had a report from somebody you talked to last week or last year. Do you remember that? We had somebody that coordinated the officials.
Yeah, it was Tom Rice.
Yeah, talking about how they're working all the time to get more officials.
Right.
But, they need more. And,
and some new blood, and younger.
And to be honest with you, they're probably going to start recruiting women.
Hey,
yeah.
I mean,
you got one in the NFL from Mississippi,
and that's the way she started out, is doing high school football. Yeah.
Well, you know what? There may be some.
And she's a good official.
She is pretty good.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. Man, pretty enough. You don't want to yell at her.
She's a big woman too.
She's
pretty tall. Played basketball and is a pretty good athlete.
How about that? All right, Chris, what we got?
Well, we're going to have to go into break, so let's just finish up this hour, and then we'll give Brandon Shields a second we come back for break.
We don't cut Brandon.
No, we're not going to cut Brandon. Also, we're going to talk with Jeff Hager this hour, and Joel's got his crazy eights, and he's got a coach on tap with him. And then we're going to talk a little bit as we close out tonight about the All-Star games, which are coming up. People are already starting to circle their calendars and make plans to be in those cities. The Miss Al game will be in Alabama this year, but they're moving it from Montgomery to Mobile, which I love because it's a whole lot less further miles. All right, we're going to take a time out. In fact, tonight's show made possible by the folks at WSN Live, streaming at its best. We'll be back.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
With my Cricket plan, everything is consistent. It's always going to be the same price. No worries.
Cricket is easy, it's affordable, customer service is top-notch. That's why I've been with them for so long.
I got my phone from Cricket and it's amazing. As a journalist, I use it for basically everything.
Great phones, great deals. Now that's a story. Smile, you're on Cricket.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a blue sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoyed today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Get your school on the network now.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet, and Joel Norris is here as well. He'll have his Crazy 8 report here in just a moment. And Noah, Ty Bailey's on the phone tonight. Liz back behind the MPB glass over there and producing. Chris Saxon, our producer, in studio. And you remember Melissa Caldwell real quickly.
Sure, absolutely.
She, her husband works for Heritage now, and they beat Pilla tonight 48-24. Jay Stevenson, and Noah's wanting to know this, for the Cricket Wireless Player of the Week. That would be North, I think. Jay Stevenson scored 6 touchdowns, ran for 5, and had a 101-yard pick 6.
101?
Yes. Rushed for over, this can't be right, rushed for over 350 yards. And then, oh, by the way, Jack Ketchum had the other touchdown. So 350 yards and a pick 6 of 101 yards. That's amazing. That's amazing. I've sent that to Noah. All right, who do we got, Chris?
Josh West.
Josh, George has been concerned. He wanted to know if you had come off of your medication and kind of calmed down a little.
I am back. Better than.
We're just teasing you, Josh.
Yeah. I talked. Hey, before you start, Josh, I got to tell you. I talked to somebody the other day. I won't tell you who it is, won't tell you what team it was, but he said, we just got hosed over at ACCS. He said, I was listening to Josh West. He goes, I need some of that, whatever he took. I need some of that. So, without further ado, who'd you have tonight?
We were up in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Ooh, way up there.
Hey, way up there. You know, so much way up there that just now as I speak, I am turning on 55 at Lexington. I've still got quite a ways to go to get
Wow. That is you got somebody with you?
Nobody with me except you guys.
Well, you got a bunch of us. Hey, if you want to, swing by here. We got a lot of Buffalo Wild Wings you can eat.
Yeah, get literally the midnight snack, right?
Yeah, the true midnight. All right, what happened to Tri-County tonight?
So tonight was a really workmanlike, solid win, and Tri-County pulled off a 35-0 win. So that tally is now up to 161-0 since the 1-point loss at ACCS.
Wow.
4 straight shutouts.
You only made them mad, ACCS.
Well, we only made them mad, and we only moved Camp Shepard into the backfield to run a lot of wildcats.
Ah.
That has been he goes for 221 tonight and a touchdown.
221 yards. How many carries?
He probably was at about 19 carries, 20 carries. He broke off a 66-yarder. I'm not looking at the total number, but the game swung late first quarter on a 4th and 14 from the 20. Warner hit Watson for a 20-yard touchdown pass. Game was scoreless at that point. Both defenses were playing great. If Clarksdale Lee gets a stop right there, you could have been playing that game nip and tuck into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But instead, got that score, kind of broke the ice, got another score late before the half, went up 13-0 at the half, and then stretched it out late. Took that 35-0 lead in the last 5.5 minutes and got to run the clock and shorten the game a little bit, but finished with 466 yards of offense and finished with right at 400 yards on the ground.
That is, man, those are massive numbers. If you get a chance, text them Shepard's numbers to me, because we do the Cricket Wireless Player of the Week, both North and South, and those are pretty good. Hey, while I got you, Cade Shepard, where is he at now?
Cade's at Southern Miss. He's a walk-on at Southern Miss. Trace White is a walk-on at Southern Miss, and then Swayze Bozeman on the team, but injured, had the bad season-ending groin injury. But it'll be interesting to see, does he try to get another medical, or does he go ahead and get healthy and work out for the pros? But an interesting stat, Tri-County, first time in school history this year against Northwestern State that they had 3 players on the same collegiate team, let alone Division I, all participate in a college football game.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat.
3 from a small private school, 428 kids are in that ballpark, K through 12, to have 3 kids participate in a Division I football game. I would say they take football pretty seriously.
I would say so. We got to run. Thank you so much. We'll keep you awake for a while. Just keep rolling down the road.
Yep, we'll play ACCS next week.
Okay. Make sure you call us next week.
Will do. Take care.
All right, bud.
Brandon Shields.
Brandon, where are you at tonight?
Tonight I was at Raleigh and Morton. Last night I was at Oak Grove, Northwest Rankin.
All right, let's take the one you were at first tonight. George said a moment ago he thought Raleigh was one of the best teams in 3A. What do you think?
I have them ranked number 1 in 3A, so I hope so. So I hope they played like it tonight. After saw them play Hazelhurst last week, win that 36-34 shootout type game, it was interesting to see how they would respond against a team like Morton, who throws it around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they adjusted really well. Got a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So I think they sacked the Morton quarterback 4 times tonight. But the story for this one was Raleigh's run game had 409 yards rushing. Hope I say these kids' names right. Kyron Moncrief had 4 rushing touchdowns. Torian Perkins had 2 rushing touchdowns. Javarius Walker had another one. Raleigh just ran it down. Ran
it down their throats.
Morton,
Yeah.
ran it down their throat, and Morton didn't have an answer for him, and that was that. Raleigh will host St. Stanislaus next week, another team that likes to throw it around a lot.
Yep.
So, as a matter of fact, Stanislaus was Coach Texas weekend. Their quarterback set the school record for, let me read this right. Let me bring this up. Broke the single season rushing record. Chandler Chapman, running back for Stanislaus. He's a good one. He's probably a Division II running back.
Should be a good one. We're going to have to let you go. We got to get Jeff Hager on, but Brandon, be careful coming home tonight, and thanks so much for that info, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's bring in
Jeff Hager.
Jeff, tell me, who's better, the QB from Ocean Springs or the QB from Gaucher?
The better arm talent is the QB from Gaucher. The better all-around player, I think Bray Hubbard maybe impacts the game a little more, but man, it's pretty much a coin flip.
Well, were you there last night?
I was, and actually, bear with me here. I'm trying to plug my phone into my car, so you might be switching over to Bluetooth, but I am right here.
Isn't technology a wonderful thing? Well, it was a wonderful thing.
Okay, you still got me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that game was just, it was kind of a track meet that didn't even feel like a track meet, It wasn't just like bang, bang, touchdown, but you look up and every time somebody scored, somebody else matched it, and I don't think either team trailed by more than one possession, so it was always within 7 or 8 points the entire game, and you saw the score. 42-42, and then, Dante Dowdell pretty much walks it off there at the end, 48-42 final, and it's just one of those ones that felt pretty un-American having to lead that game at halftime, just knowing what was going to happen, and having to go back and edit those highlights, but, just even 24 minutes of that, you knew it was going to be one of those special games, and, I was impressed with Gaucher, and it almost seemed like they were, happy to have been a part of that game. Like, they're like, okay, we can play with them, because last year they did not fare well in that matchup, and I'm not sure what it was, because they felt just as talented last year. But they really have put something pretty special together that they just showed they can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the state, and the only concern I have is, how that offense travels if the weather happens to not be as good. That would be my only concern, but I look for both of those teams, hopefully to meet again in the playoffs, and let's do round 2.
Yeah, we're getting some of those already set up around the state, round 2s in the playoffs. So pretty much on the coast now. Van Cleve is in, right?
Van Cleve is the 4 seed. East Central the 3 seed, and then working the way down in 6A, you got Ocean Springs, Gulfport with the home games. And that was determined. Gulfport beat Biloxi head-to-head last night, 33-24. To wrap that one up, and then Hancock getting back in the playoffs for the first time in a few years as the 4 seed. So we'll be curious to see what the Hawks do there in the first round. And then tonight we had Poplarville, and they didn't give up a first down until about 16 minutes into the game. So that defense is just a wagon. And I know they're going to get tougher competition down the road, but they beat Pasco Jan 40-12. It was 34-0 at halftime. Larry Dolan's returned to the coast with Forest County AHS. They went to Moss Point. Moss Point won 48-6. St. Stanislaus, my alma mater, I just heard Brandon talking about their running back Chandler Chapman. They won 45-14, and and then Stone 41-6 over Summerall. Once they got going, the points just kept coming. So I believe the Gulf Coast has 13 of our 24 teams remaining in the playoffs, or I guess heading into that second week for 2A, 3A, 4A, and the first week for 1A, 5A, 6A.
I was at St. Stanislaus one year, and I was doing a TV game that night, and was into that big area in the middle of the school, I think where the library is, and there was this glass case that was in there. and it had a Heisman looking trophy, and it was Doc Blanchard. I didn't know he was from St. Stanislaus.
Yeah, I think he just donated it back. It was at 44 or 45. It was way back.
Yeah. And still there. That's something now. That's not too many guys.
How many schools got a Heisman Trophy?
That's very, very few. Well, listen, Jeff, we appreciate the roundup down there on the coast. You got some really big games coming up next week, and we'll certainly want to hear from you on the second half of the show next week. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Absolutely. You guys do the same.
Thank you. Jeff Hager covering the coast for us tonight. We'll step aside, take a time out, and be back with those crazy eights in a moment.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
With my Cricket plan, everything is consistent. It's always going to be the same price. No worries.
Cricket is easy, it's affordable, customer service is top-notch. That's why I've been with them for so long.
I got my phone from Cricket and it's amazing. As a journalist, I use it for basically everything.
Great phones, great deals. Now that's a story. Smile, you're on Cricket.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a blue sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoyed today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Get your school on the network now.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Glad to have you with us tonight. If you'd like to call in to be a part of the show, 877-672-7464 or 877-MPB-RING. That's easy enough to remember, and a big thanks to them for handling the show tonight. So, I know Josh is thankful. Josh West, he got another 2.5 hours or so before he gets home.
He needs something to listen to on the way home for sure.
All right, it's time now for Joel Norris and his Crazy Eights, and now they're already deep into the playoffs, aren't they?
Second round. Yeah, second round.
Okay,
all right. They started on the 28th. So,
28th
yeah,
of
a week before.
October.
Yeah, a week before everybody else.
Well,
really, but I mean, we got some good games. I think the only upset that's coming up is from 1A. But let's just go from a different stance. Last week I started off with the 1A playoffs. Let's go with the 2A playoffs to start off with. Tallulah Academy opened up their playoff because they were on a bye. They were one of the teams that had the bye week, first round. They beat Prentice Christian 44-16. It was a rematch, and Tallulah got the better of them once again. Tunica Academy, the number 1 seed, going in after beating North Sunflower in the regular season. They defeated Porter's Chapel 42-0 tonight. And then a rematch, North Sunflower Academy and Manchester Academy, a rematch that everybody was waiting for. A district game also. Manchester and Brian, we talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He felt like he needed to come out and just come out strong in this one. He did. Unfortunately, he was on the losing end. North Sunflower Academy gets them by 2 points, 22-20. Manchester is moving up to 3A also. So, I mean, that ends their 8-man run for them.
So they're going to 11-man?
They're going to 11-man, back to 11-man.
Is that right?
Yeah, 3A. Moving up next year as a part of the MAIS realignment.
Okay.
Newton County Academy and Christian Collegiate Academy, a game that was going to be real, a barn burner, and it was. Unfortunately, Christian Collegiate Academy took one on the chin tonight, as George would say, took one on the chin. Newton County Academy defeats them 40-34. And now to the 1A playoffs. We got Lee Academy defeating Briarfield Academy 52-50, and I've said that. Keep an eye on Lee Academy. I mean, they're the number 1 seed. They had a dominant regular season.
No, that's Lee Academy.
In Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Right?
Yes, there is a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There's a Clarksdale Lee.
Yeah.
Tri-County play.
Yeah, they play 4A, and this is Lee Academy in Arkansas in 1A. DeSoto, this is the upset. Deer Creek was going in the number 3 seed in 1A, and then they played the defending champions DeSoto, who was the 6th seed. DeSoto gets them. Not only gets them, but decisively, 42-0.
Wow.
So that was the upset for 1A tonight. And then we had a Tensall Academy victory. They defeated Delta Academy 22-6. And then a big rematch. We talked to Coach Holloway from WCCA a few weeks back. He said he was looking forward to playing Riverdale again once in the playoffs. They got them. Unfortunately, it did not go their way tonight. So in the rematch, Riverdale Academy defeats Wilkinson County Christian Academy 64-46. And we have the victorious head coach on the phone tonight, Riverdale Academy head coach Jared Smeltzer. Coach Smeltzer, welcome to Friday Night Under the Lights. How are you?
Doing great. How are you, Joe?
Oh, great. First off, congratulations on the win tonight. Talk about just tonight's win overall and performance. You played this team in the regular season, and you saw Jacob Sessions from Wilkinson County Christian. He was a factor in the first outing for you guys. Talk about the improvements from your team overall from the regular season and just tonight.
Well, the first time we played them, I felt like I did a bad job of getting us ready for the game. I felt we were out of sync a little bit, and I knew that we didn't play our best game, and I probably didn't coach the best game, and we focused on getting better during our off week. We had Sharkey Aquina. They had a forfeit due to flu, and so we got an off week there, and we prepared for them as best we could. They got a high-powered offense. They got a great coach, and our guys came out on fire. We kind of did a hurry-up offense that our team just clicks with, and we kept them guessing on defense a lot.
Coach, you have I wouldn't say a fairly young team, but a young team, led by junior quarterback Ryder Huddleston. Talk about him and the improvement that he has made from last season to this season, and he's only getting better game by game and season by season. So talk about him and what he means to your team.
Ryder, man, he's a workhorse. That guy, he means so much to the team. When we're in that hurry-up offense, I give him control of play calls, and I think I might have called one play tonight, and it didn't work. But when we're in the hurry-up, he gets up on the line, he calls plays out, and he looks over the defense. And tonight he was on point. The last time we did the hurry-up against Franklin a couple weeks back, the team just gels, and they rally around him. He's a true leader, there's no doubt.
Coach, this is Russ Robinson. Congratulations on your win tonight. I'd like to ask you, because 8-man football, I've given this project to Joel for 3 years now, and it's really building up like we hoped that it would. A lot of people talking about this league. I'm interested in how these teams get on air somewhere. Like, is there a radio station that carries any of them, or are any of these schools going into live video streaming? Do you talk about that among the schools? How's that working?
Yeah, we've got some cameras set up at our school now that does the live stream in our press box. We got basketball that has it, and baseball that's getting it as well. It's just one of those things that you get the live stream, and sometimes parents do it and stuff like that. Of course, during the playoffs, you really can't do that, but you're getting a lot of air. I know the local teams are starting, or the local towns are starting to catch on, and we had a new coach that comes in, and he helped us tonight for his first game, and he says he's addicted to it, man. So, he grew up playing 11-man football, and he says, I'm all in.
That's great. That is great. Well, it's a good product, is my point, and I think the more people that either watch it or listen to it or go to the game really enjoy what they see.
You've got to be really smart and really athletic to play 8-man. You gotta be able to make adjustments on as fast as you can. And stuff like that. It's basically a chess match, and I don't like high scoring games. I like a defense to step up. Tonight was one of those high scoring games. Kind of made me nervous, but then again, WCCA is a great team, and they have a great coach over there.
Coach, you have a good team coming in next week. You got to play the number 1 seeded Lee Academy. They've been dominant all season. Talk about what you got to do to prepare for them and try to come away with a win here.
Well, we got to fix some things. We had some holes in the defense, and And even on good wins and stuff like that, you go back and you find out what you did wrong, and you don't just get satisfied. And that's one of the things I'll get home probably about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and hopefully film will be uploaded, and I'll stay up all night watching and seeing what we did wrong, see where we can fix some things. And this late in the playoffs, yeah, you concentrate on the opposing team, but you also concentrate on how you can get better. And we had some pitiful penalties. We had 2 touchdowns called back. Those are the types of things you need to fix in order to win.
Coach, this is not necessarily 8-man, but just final question. I know you're a big Arkansas Razorbacks fan. They got Liberty tomorrow. How are you feeling about that one?
I'm uncomfortable. Liberty's good. Hugh Freeze is a good coach. I mean, Mississippi had him for a while, and it's a scary team. They're not scared of Arkansas, I can tell you that, and they want the chance to beat an SEC team.
Hey, that's true. But hey, Arkansas should be favored in that one, I think. But nonetheless, thank you for joining us here tonight, Coach, on Friday Night Under the Lights. Congratulations on a big playoff win tonight.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you. That was Riverdale coach Jared Smeltzer.
Okay. All right. So the playoffs are kind of set over there. Now will they be wrapped up on before the MAIS playoffs?
The week before Thanksgiving, because that's so the 17th is when all the MAIS championships start. And I think the 6A plays at MC.
Right.
So 1A through 5A plays at Jackson Academy,
right.
And then 6A plays at MC. So
and that's a Saturday
game, on the 19th,
right?
I believe. Just to go over real quick the semifinals. So Tunica and North Sunflower, that's a district matchup. That's a rematch, so another rematch. And then Tallulah and Newton County, another rematch. Tallulah got Newton early on, and then Tunica beat North Sunflower in a very close one. I'm pretty sure Coach Ricky Smith there from North Sunflower is chomping at the bit for that one. For Class 1A, we have the one we just mentioned, Lee Academy going over against Riverdale Academy, and Tinsall versus DeSoto in a semifinal. And those are the 1A semifinals, and they should be all close and all interesting. I'll have scores and reports on that one for next week. So
I'm interested on the 8-man. What are the 3 positions that are missing? Wide receivers.
Wide receivers usually line up in as a part of as a guard. On the interior linemen.
But they're eligible to catch.
Yeah, they are eligible to catch, yeah. So you have linemen that are eligible to catch in 8-man. Now, in 11-man, that's, a legal man downfield. But in 8-man, it's just like a wild card almost, if you will.
Would have extended my career.
Right.
I was able to play. I actually was a wide receiver, but had the hands of a lineman. So.
And the speed of a gazelle.
Yeah, we have some really good semifinal games next week, and it should be interesting to see who goes to the championship in a couple of weeks. I mean, these teams are looking really good. The 2A and 1A, it's all looking really solid. Really
the thing I like about it is their fans really come out and support them.
They do. I get messages from coaches every day talking about, we appreciate what you do, for 8-man. I had one. It's a quick story before we go to the break. I had one man. I was shopping for just a loaf of bread at Walmart, and he was like, Joel Norris. I said, yeah. Hey, how are you? He goes, oh yeah, it's great. I watch your show every Friday night on Friday Night Under the Lights, and you're like the 8-man god. And I thought to myself, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll take that. No, that's just a joke. I'm just an average guy who loves doing 8-man, but it's it's a fun gig,
it didn't hurt to have your name Joel Norris on the back of your shirt. I mean,
it really didn't. No, I had to look at the tag on the back of my shirt. Remember?
Yeah, but you know what? It's the truth. I mean, George, I can't even remember talking about 8-man before. If we did, it was just kind of in passing.
No, I mean, it really is in passing. But, he said something a week or two ago about, I think there's 30 schools
30.
or so. And I didn't realize there was that many schools that played 8-man football.
How many states?
So that's a significant amount.
I think just 3, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And Park Place is coming down to 8-man. That's another one. Park Place is coming down to 8-man. Yeah. And football only, all their sports is just, 5A, MAIS.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, Joel Norris with his crazy eights. We're going to take a timeout and get out of here for our last break. Tonight's show made possible by the folks at Cricket Wireless. They're also the ones that give away the plaques every week for the most valuable player north and south. Keep it here. We'll be back in a moment.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky, they're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
People who come to Cricket, stay with Cricket.
I love how Cricket has no hidden fees, no hidden charges. It's just predictable.
With Cricket, I can stay in touch with my grandson as much as I want without being concerned that my bills go up.
The 5G is like fast. It makes sharing photos of our projects and video calls super easy.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community, embracing technology, empowering people, striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Get your school on the network now.
I started at 23 with nothing but me. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Last segment going to the 12 o'clock hour. You know, a lot of folks going from north to south tonight, and it's really going to get that way, as the playoffs go. And so a lot of people just, they stop me. They don't stop me as I'm getting a loaf of bread like they do for Joel, but they say, thanks for staying on till midnight.
Yeah.
And they always like when George wraps up the scores. We're not done yet. Tell the orchestra, hold off a moment. I think it's Liz. Noah Crow is in charge of selection and getting out the Cricket Wireless Players of the Week. And you've got one from last week. We haven't caught up with the second one yet. So tell me about him from last week.
Last week, we had Brandon's running back. He junior Nate Blunt. He had 31 carries, 248 yards, 5 touchdowns. And he had 2 big defensive players in the final seconds to help Brandon survive against Northwest Rankin 36-28.
So, when you picking these players, obviously stats are a big thing. And so it doesn't matter whether it's an MAIS school or an MHSAA school or an 8-man school. Stats are stats. Is that correct?
Stats are stats.
And as we give that award, in fact, there's 2 of them every week. You split the state, and I'm assuming you split right across from like Jackson below in the south and above Jackson from the north. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then the folks at Cricket Wireless actually go out and meet this young man at pep rally or whatever and hand it to him there. So a really good program. And these kids get a get a really kick out of getting these plaques, don't they?
They really do.
Have you had a chance to talk to any of them yourself?
I've talked to the one at Jackson Prep, the one we did last week, and he was very excited.
That must be Paxton Thompson.
It was Paxton Thompson.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you've got some people this week that have already, the numbers are coming in, and there were some good numbers out there tonight. You know what's amazing to me, and I guess maybe football's changed a lot since I played, and obviously it's a long time ago, but you didn't see a kid get 5 touchdowns in a game when I was playing. You didn't hear of it.
Football is just totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember, you go to a ball game and, somebody got like a 10-point lead and that was in the second half, and that was it.
You felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people throw the ball more, I don't know, it's just there's the more emphasis on the spacing that, creates the running lanes that you didn't used to see. You go back and you watch, you can pull it up on YouTube or something like that, and you watch a game from, say, the 50s and 60s, and it's just a completely different game.
Oh, I know it was when I took my leather helmet off. You know?
I know.
With no face guard. But, I mean, the offense, they used to say defense wins championships, and I do believe that to some degree. But there are so many. And what was that stat that you had on, Josh had on Tri-County? It's like since they lost by 1.
Yeah, they last 4 games, they've won 4 straight shutouts.
160.
Yeah, but I mean, Tupelo, I talked about that one. They won their last 4 games, and they've given up 10 points. And the touchdown they gave up to Clinton was on a fumble. It was like a scoop and score. Yeah, and that's the only. I think it was the only points. At that point, that was the only points they'd given up at home all season long, or something crazy like that. Ray Coleman was telling us about that.
Wow.
So anyway, I mean, I agree. I love offense, but I think ultimately, the best teams are going to have a good defense.
I agree. I mean, how many times look at Picayune, how good they are on offense. But their defense stops people too.
Right.
Gaucher notwithstanding.
Right. Yeah.
But they do stop a lot of people, and so I bring that up because we've got the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game coming up. Now you've got the state championship games the first weekend in December, and they are going to be at Southern, I believe. And so then after that week, you've got the Miss Al game. And after that week, you've got the Bernard-Blackwell game, the North versus the South. And that quarterback that we were talking about earlier tonight.
Caden Irving?
Yeah, he's going to the North-South game.
He's going to North-South game.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun watching him. And that game's just a lot of fun anyway. I mean, except the day, the water washed us all out. And
that was the Bernard-Blackwell game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it rained so hard that the North only attempted 3 field goals, and all 3 went through the whole placeholder's hands and went backwards. But most of the time, the weather's Gardner Minshew played in that game.
Okay.
There's been a lot of good guys go through that game, and you get 40 on each team, so that's 80 kids in a bowl game that might not have been able to play. And a lot of them think, well, if I don't make the Miss Al game, it's just curtains, and that's not true. I mean, there's just so many good players in this state. I mean, you just look at the quarterbacks across the state this year, and the kid from Ocean Springs, and Hubbard, right, and then this kid tonight. I mean, there's just so many good ones out there to pick from. Each team, like Alabama, will get 2 quarterbacks, and Mississippi get 2 quarterbacks. We lost to them last year, but we beat them 3 times in a row before that. Seems like we always beat them here at home, so it'll be University of South Alabama.
Okay.
And they've moved it from Montgomery to Mobile, which means a lot of people here can go. I mean. And
when is that?
That is
the second week in December?
Yes, it's the weekend after the state championship games. We want to encourage everyone to go to state championship games too. There's nothing like being there. I mean, you can watch it on a stream or hear it on radio, but there's nothing like being there. And the Rock is a great place to attend a football game. So.
Well, we got Will to throw on the phone. He must want to add something.
I asked him to come on.
He's on.
Will, talk to us about this shortage in officials. Why do you think we're running into this?
Age.
That knocks me out.
Yep, age is a lot to do with it. About 10, 15 years ago, during the prime of my tenure in Brookhaven, I got into officiating as a basketball, baseball, and softball official.
Mm-hmm.
It's very demanding. It's very studious in the fact that you really got to know your rule book and apply certain situations to certain things. I just had a great mentor. I won't mention his name because I don't want to embarrass him per se, but he really taught me the rules of the game. And he said, if you know the rules, then everything else will fall in place. But due to health reasons, having a mini stroke and several stays in the hospital, I had to step away from it like real quick. But I would encourage anyone who is listening on the show tonight, it's not as hard as you think. The only thing that is really required is that you study your rule book. That is the most important thing. Otherwise, I'm not going to say you will fail, but a lot of the guys I know guys that are calling games today that were calling when I played 40 years ago.
Ooh. So what's the answer on getting extra people in here? I appreciate you throwing that out there and asking people to look into it. But I mean, what is at the end of the day? What is the answer to keep us from playing on Thursday night?
Really, to be honest with you, there really is no answer because, again, until we get this shortage knocked out of the way, we just need to get more people involved. Again, you can talk to your local high school, junior high coach, ask them about how to get involved in the officiating business, and then they will refer you to the assigning secretary. You go to meetings, you study your rule book, you work with other officials, both veterans and newcomers. They definitely will encourage you to study that rule book. It's almost like you're back in school again. You really must study that rule book because what you may think is an actual rule actually is not a rule. So the National Federation of High Schools does an excellent job of putting these rule books out for each and every sport. It's just a matter of studying them, be efficient in what you're studying, and then apply what you study from your book to what you see on the field.
That sounds like a really good suggestion. Will, thanks for calling in, and you put out your sheets every week here for the Scoreboard Show. We really appreciate that, and glad to have you as part of our team.
Well, thank you as well. Give credit to Dr. Dave. He's the one that kind of pushed it to the edge. He's in the here in North Carolina. I'm in the Red Clay Hills of Southwest Mississippi.
Well, that's kind of the same thing. Not.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Will. We appreciate you, bud.
Same here. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
You too.
Don't forget now, Dr. Dave is going to have these brackets up on the website. And you may be sitting there going, we want to go follow our team, but where do they play this week?
Right.
And so if you go to the website, and a lot of people do.
And does Dr. Dave put Will's spreadsheet on the website?
No, I'm not. I say he should.
Okay.
But I'm not.
Well, I mean, people don't really realize how much time and effort the guy goes to.
It's amazing.
And he has an amazing amount of information, and we really appreciate all the work that he puts into it. It's very, very, very valuable.
And Dave put the app together and has the website, and it's all good. That's what we stay around here for. Big thanks tonight to Ty Bailey on the phone for Noah and Joel doing what they do, and George with all the scores, and also Liz back behind us here at MPB. Chris Saxon producing tonight for Friday night Under the Lights, and I'm going to try to get Ricky Neves on next one. We got a lot to talk
Pretty
about.
good.
Yeah. So until then, everybody enjoy your sports weekend.